Hello, this is Daryl at Good Attitude Services 10-foot truck. And today I was just thinking about what's going on with this new proposal for focusing on the gig economy for independent contract work, and where the Department of Labor is pushing for those type of jobs to be classified as an employee status. So like a W-2 status as opposed to a 1099. That's what I was reading yesterday, and I was watching how someone was talking about the stocks have dropped on a lot of those companies like Uber Eats, Lyft, independent contracting. And I thought, well, that's probably going to, if that goes through and they do successfully make those type of gig jobs a regular W-2 employee status job, I think that's going to affect a lot of that. Not only the companies may be affected on a negative way, but I'm sure there'll be people who'll be willing to go ahead and work those jobs as an employee. But I think usually in those employee status jobs, as opposed to a 1099, there'll probably be more of a structured scheduling, so the flexibility may not be the same as it was before when you're just logging in as a 1099 contractor, or independent contractor. And I wonder how that's going to affect, because I haven't read the whole thing. I mean, is it going to go into other things like subcontracting and other types of contractors? Anyone who's filing as a 1099, how is that going to work? How's it going to affect all these other businesses outside of just these gig apps like Uber and all that? So is it going to have a blanket effect on those too? But I was thinking, if they do succeed in that, a lot of these people who are working these gig apps may want, since they want that flexibility and maybe it's not going to be available as much anymore, they may go back into the W-2 workforce, and that will create pushback into that, which is going to make those type of jobs more competitive. Now they're gonna have more people coming back, because right now we're having and it's very there's a lot of companies and especially in the entry level type jobs that are looking for people that are having a hard time getting employees, or having a hard time keeping the workers, and there's a lot of job hopping going on and all that. If that affects that, where there's a push where more people are starting to flood that market, going back to the W-2s and getting into these entry-level jobs, say, as opposed to going into these independent contractor jobs, that's going to create this competitive environment, and it's going to create, and when it does get more competitive in any of those jobs, whether it's a restaurant job or a service job, people are going to start competing for that, and I think that's going to result in better service in those type of industries, because of the competition. They're going to want to outshine each other. Well, I can do better at this job, I could be a better employee. As whereas now it's like, since it's so easy to get in and out of these jobs, they're not really worried about competing, so they just jump around, job hop, or they're not really as serious. I noticed over the time that this happened, a lot of restaurants, the workers aren't as service orientated in a lot of areas. Not all of them, but I've noticed that. I've noticed that in areas that there's not as many jobs, that when you go to those restaurants, the service industry is better because people are competing for those jobs. Also, in the economy, as things are getting a little bit tighter in the economy, and things are getting we're more kind of in a recession now, and I noticed that also I think this influx of people may be going back because of this. Maybe there's going to be a lot of layoffs or that type of thing. So say if some companies are having to lay off because of the economy, those people who are laid off are going to be rushing back to maybe whatever job they can get. Maybe it's, even if it's entry level, it doesn't matter. So it's going to put a big pressure and a big influx into all those type of jobs, companies, and that. So that will, I think, create a competitive job market. And I think as a result of that, it's going to be competitive, being like more service orientated. So like these companies, say for instance, in say if you're doing junk removal or you're doing these type of services, and you're going to outshine maybe the bigger companies, or you would before, because you could provide more of that service, more of that customer service. Then oh, there's a cat out there. Hey cat. It's funny, there's a cat sitting out here. I've never seen that one before. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, like the bigger companies now, there's going to be this competitive workforce, or I think a competitive nature more now to all these companies. So say a bigger company that's doing junk removal, their employees may have been more lax before because they knew they had job security, because it was so difficult to find employees. That may change. There may be more people who are willing to get on the trucks, more people willing to take those jobs, even if they're a little bit lower paying, but they need a job because of the economy. They're going to compete, and they're going to try to outshine each other, and they're going to become more service-orientated employees. Because I've known that in the past, when things were like that, when the economies were tough and it was hard to find a job, there was a lot of competition just in basic entry-level jobs, which there hasn't been in the last couple of years. It's been really low as far as the competition. It's been fairly easy to get a job. So that will make it, so I think that's going to make it competitive on all edges, because now these bigger companies are going to have better employees. They're going to be operating better, having better service. So now you're going to have to up your game as an independent company, because now you're going to have to compete with not only do they offer better service, but they have better marketing. So now since you may not have the marketing, but you're going to have to operate with much better service now, and be very attentive to the customer, and up those skills of customer service, being